Good Tuesday morning. It is the 6th of May, and you found us here at the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. I work here at 13 News Now, serving Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, and through streaming, the Weather Desk serves all of the country and really all of the world. We get international stories. We'll be looking to the heavens as well. We've got the Eta Aquariid meteor shower coming through the peak this morning, but we'll tell you about opportunities to see it over the next week or so. Here are our headlines. What is CAPE? I'm not talking about that article of clothing that you throw over your shoulders. No, we're talking about convective available potential energy, what it is and what does it tell us about our atmosphere. One of my colleagues, Hunter Force, will take a look at that coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to take a look at where the CAPE is higher today and areas that are going to be seeing some strong to severe storms. All right, we're also going to talk about early season tropical systems. We're into May, and historically, when you look back, you can see we do have some systems that develop before June 1, the traditional start of the hurricane season. So we'll take a look at some of these past years where we've had some earlier season storms, and then we're also going to take a look at how things are shaping up right now. And not just a quick look, we'll take a look at some different areas that can sometimes spark or develop some tropical systems early in the season. All right, so that's coming up. I mentioned the Eta Aquariid meteor showers. Now, we had that, again, kind of peaking technically this morning, and we had overcast here in Hampton Roads. We're going to take a look because this is now, while it won't be at peak later tonight, we are going to see much better conditions for viewing, and there should still be enough action where you can catch some of those. We're going to take a look nationally, show you which areas may be able to see some of those Eta Aquariids and which ones will be dealing with more clouds. So will we be able to catch it? I think to some degree, yes, but we'll talk about the best chances for that. We also have an update on Mount Kilauea. Remember, if you watched the Weather Desk yesterday, we showed some time lapse. We're going to have some more images from that, but we're going to give you a live update. You know, folks out there studying the volcano say it could go at any time. So we're going to give you a look at that coming up in just a bit. But we're starting off with the satellite and the radar images and some interesting stuff going on. We still have our upper level low spinning here. We had the storms last evening, and through the area, that heavy rain that has pulled away and is now, the rain pulling farther and farther to the east. We are dry. Now, there's a very low risk of a stray shower, but yesterday afternoon we had strong storms, and again, that was an area of concern, severe weather. We saw that, and it was on the Weather Desk that we got that updated outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, where we went from just a level 1 or marginal risk up to a slight risk. Said the greatest chances were going to be inland, and that's exactly what we saw. Look at these storm reports. Hail, there was some wind damage, some issues with some flooding, but I want to direct your attention to funnel cloud spotted off to the north. Again, that was up King and Queen County there around Little Plymouth. Again, just a funnel cloud there. Down to the south, though, not only a funnel cloud south of Plymouth, but this area here, there's actually drone footage that was able to spot an actual tornado down on the ground. And there were also multiple reports and videos submitted showing some other funnel clouds and possible brief touchdowns. So, again, just off to the southwest of Hampton Roads, we did get some really interesting weather video coming in and some confirmed reports, at least a brief touchdown there. All right, also in Valhalla, this is up in the southern parts of the 13 News Now viewing area, just north of Edenton. In Chowan County, there was a large tree branch that came down on power lines. So again, thunderstorm wind damage. We saw more of that for our inland areas. I want to take you down to Texas, and you see all of the storm reports there. Hail, there was wind damage, there was flooding issues around Lubbock, all of this reported fairly recently. There are active storms going on right now down in Texas, and let's take this full because I just want to take a quick look before we jump in to this explanation on CAPE here coming up in just a moment. We'll get into that, but I do want to show you what I was looking at down in Texas. So as we switch over here, I'm going to just quickly take it into the mosaic, and show you down across Texas there, just off to the west of Austin. We have a tornado warning right there. And just in case some folks maybe from Texas are watching right now, let's give you the update on that. Again, this is a tornado warning, Cottonwood Shores, Horseshoe Bay, Marble Falls, Meadow Lakes, and in the counties of Blanco, Burnett, and Llano. So we have that until 8:30 Central Time, another 24 minutes here from where we are right now. As you can see, again, there's a larger area under a watch, but this has been moving along. I'm going to go ahead and loop this over the last, we'll just take it back over the last hour. And as we loop this here, you can see how it's moving along. There was a warning issued out just to the west-southwest of it. But this is the area, again, moving off to the northeast, and we'll continue to watch. It looks like it's making a run right there towards Marble Falls. So that's what's going on. Round Mountain, Sandy, some of the areas. And when you take a look here, you kind of see this little notch right in here with it. This would be the concern. Now, I don't have a live radar to show you on this area. I've got my radar set up closer to the East Coast right now, but this mosaic radar, which takes all the different radar sites and combines them, does give you a good look at this, again, notch right in here. So we'll continue to watch at those communities. Again, not far, just a little bit north of Sandy, Round Mountain, you are likely in it. Marble Falls, potentially Spicewood. And this tornado warning goes until 9:30 East Coast, 8:30 Central Time. So I just wanted to give you that. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about Cape and what's going on. I mentioned yesterday there were several severe thunderstorm warnings issued and strong storms developed across parts of the mid-Atlantic region. We're looking at strong storms down across Texas, okay? Now, while our weather is calmer here, it is going to be a very active day back across Texas. Let's talk about the different ways that we measure and track the potential thunderstorms. And meteorologist Hunter Forst explains one of the ways we do that, looking at Cape.
When severe weather is on the way, Cape is one of the many measurements meteorologists use to gather information on potential thunderstorm development. CAPE, which stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, refers to the energy available to fuel a developing thunderstorm and indicates how unstable the atmosphere is, measuring the energy available in the atmosphere for air to rise. When warm air is lighter than the cooler air around it, it wants to go up. And the greater the temperature difference between a parcel of air and the surrounding environment, the more energy there is for stronger updrafts, and eventually that warm air condenses into cloud formation. High CAPE values indicate a highly unstable atmosphere, leading to stronger updrafts, meaning that air parcels are more likely to rise and develop into thunderstorms. CAPE is expressed in joules per kilogram and can range from 0 to over 5,000. In general, CAPE values of less than 1,000 joules per kilogram represent weak instability, 1,000 to 2,500 moderate instability, 2,500 to 4,000 strong instability, and greater than 4,000 joules per kilogram, well, that's extreme instability. So remember, during any thunderstorm, no matter how strong, when thunder roars, go indoors. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forst.
All right, Hunter, we're going to hear more from him on some of the earlier starts of the hurricane seasons coming up. I want to talk some more about the Cape. And again, we've got some of this stronger Cape down here across Texas and the Mexican coastline. You'll notice a little bit of that showing up around Florida and even up around northeast North Carolina. We had a little bit there as well. We are going to see improving weather here in the mid-Atlantic, but things are rough. As I just showed you, we do have that tornado warning there in central Texas there to the west of Austin. So we'll continue to watch that. Again, the stage is set with all the Cape down across South Texas. We'll be watching for that potential. And here's the outlook as we go forward later today from the Storm Prediction Center. There's a level 1 threat, which includes much of Texas, South Oklahoma, Arkansas, all the way back out to southern Mississippi, Alabama, and even the extreme western portion of the panhandle of Florida there. As we take a look at central Texas, you get into this area shaded in yellow. This is level 2. So green, level 1 marginal threat. Yellow, level 2. That's where we expect scattered strong to severe storms. And then you get into this area shaded in orange. This is what we call an enhanced risk of severe weather, where you expect numerous severe storms. That's going to be just north of Houston and into the western central portions of Louisiana. Bottom line, this is an area that is primed for storm development, and I want to take a little closer look at the types of damage and some of the impacts you could expect. Strong wind potential from east central Texas all the way across this area that we mentioned, back across much of Louisiana and the southwestern part of Mississippi. The greatest threat here north of Houston and into west central Louisiana. So that's for the strong gusty winds. And a lot of that, we're not talking about tornadoes. I showed you the overall look. This is talking about even just outflow from thunderstorms could be damaging. Then you talk about the potential for large hail, and you've got this whole area here with a pretty good chance, at least a level 2. Then this area kind of hashed out here. This is showing areas where there could be 2 inches or greater diameter hail. So large hail for central Texas. Again, they get those powerful storms back across Texas. They know how to deal with them. But if you get large hail like that, it's going to do damage, and that is a problem. Now, as far as the tornado potential goes, you see we have this third level here, a 10% chance for a tornado within 25 miles of any point shaded in this area in red. And significantly, again, with the hashed areas, this is an area where there could be EF2 or greater. So you're talking about stronger tornadoes potentially, and maybe some longer track tornadoes will kinds of put down and then move along for a while. We need to watch for that. That is a big concern. And we'll just take a little closer look at some of the communities here. You can see from just north of Houston up through Conroe, Huntsville, over to Seven Oaks, all the way out to Fort Polk there, and that is into Louisiana. Looking to the west, Georgetown, some of these areas, northern parts, Personville, Crockett, some of the communities here in Texas that we'll be watching. Again, north of Houston, potential for some larger and maybe some longer duration tornadoes. We'll see how things come together, but that is the concern. Then on top of all of that, you have to wonder about the flood potential. You see that from East Texas across Louisiana and into Mississippi. There's a slight risk all the way up through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, but it's this area where you've got the moderate risk that we're mostly concerned for the heavier rain. We'll go ahead and shift this up, expand the view, mention a slight risk there, level 1 threat up for the northeast U.S. That's including Massachusetts, parts of New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then out to the west around Vegas. There is that marginal or level 1 threat as well. So where does this area across the south go next? It is going to spread eastward. You can see again still tomorrow, this is through Thursday morning, Wednesday through Thursday morning, there's that level 2 or slight risk for excessive rainfall along the Louisiana coast over to southern parts of Mississippi and all the way to Mobile Bay there. So that's what's happening for tomorrow into early Thursday. By Thursday into early Friday, the threat level goes down a little bit, but still a lot of rain down along the Gulf Coast, and I am concerned with the potential for flooding in these areas over the next couple of days, something we will be monitoring here from the weather desk. Looking ahead to Saturday morning, it does shift a little farther to the east, but again, level 1 threats for southern parts of Georgia, maybe into South Carolina, and then eventually down across North Florida there and back towards Alabama. Okay, here's how things play out. You see the heavy rain down there through the afternoon, potential strong and severe storms in through here. It does shift a little farther to the east, still some heavy rain along the coast. You'll notice things are looking quieter here until late Thursday here in the mid-Atlantic. That's when we'll see our next chances for showers. That into Friday, still unsettled along the Gulf Coast. Looks like things will be drying out nicely across the central U.S. and out to the West Coast looking pretty good as well. All right, we're going to take a look at the Atlantic hurricane season. And you know, the official start of the hurricane season is June 1. But you notice there's a little bit of activity here in May. So the bottom line is we're now into May. It's May 6th. It's not too early to keep an eye on the tropics. Meteorologist Hunter Forst explains the last time we've had tropical storms or hurricanes outside that June to November time frame.
The Atlantic hurricane season starts on June 1st and ends at the end of November. But that doesn't mean we can't see any tropical storms or hurricanes outside of that time frame. Seeing tropical systems develop in the month of May isn't extremely out of the ordinary, but it is very rare to see a hurricane develop this month, with the last one being over 50 years ago, back in 1970. But the strongest May hurricane on record for the Atlantic was back in 1951. Hurricane Abel, the first named storm of the season, and had peak winds of 115 miles per hour. It reached hurricane strength as it pushed southward near the Bahamas on May 18th, then turned north and remained a Category 1 hurricane just east of the Outer Banks, turning east and out to sea, never making landfall in the U.S. But the strongest preseason system to make landfall in the U.S. was Tropical Storm Beryl, back in 2012. Beryl developed on May 26th near the East Coast and was classified as a subtropical storm on May 27th. Later in the day, Beryl transitioned into a tropical cyclone less than 120 miles from North Florida. The next day, Beryl moved ashore near Jacksonville Beach, Florida, with peak winds of 70 miles per hour. Eventually, Beryl made its way up to the Outer Banks before pushing out to sea. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forrest.
All right, Hunter. So we have our hurricane season traditionally June 1 through the end of November. You see the peak there around September 10th. We get into the Cape, what we call the Cape Verde season or the Cape Verde season, now Cabo Verde, but those are the ones that develop out in the eastern Atlantic. You get a wave that comes across or exits off the coast of Africa, and then it organizes, it moves through the main development region. Those can be really problematic. If they reach the U.S., they come in a lot of times as very powerful hurricanes as they make their approach. That's all later in the season, and then things wind down after that. We will continue to watch all of this throughout the season and keep you updated. Just give you a quick couple of facts here. First of all, the average is what's normal, at least based on results from 1991 to 2020. We've averaged 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Colorado State, and I was looking maybe to see if any other of the major hurricane forecasters had dropped their predictions for 2025. Still waiting on some of them, but Colorado State got theirs out. 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, 4 majors. So this would be a season that would be just slightly above average. You take a look at the hurricane names. Andrea, the first one, you can see, or Andrea, Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Aaron, Fernand, Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, all of the names through the ends. Then you get into the last column, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, and Wendy. So you see this list here. That is 21 names. Right now, Colorado State thinks, we'll probably get through 17 of them. We'll see. There's a supplemental list of names if we burn through that, if it's a really active season. Again, it's still early. Now, I told you we'd take a more detailed look at the tropics. I want to do that right now. We'll start with the sea surface temperatures. Notice how warm it is down in the Caribbean, the Gulf, very warm. Looking at warm conditions off the Florida coast and back across the main development region. These areas we're going to be paying super close attention to. This is where most systems form in June when you look historically in the Gulf. Areas down in the western Caribbean, we can see storms form in here and kind of move off in this direction. And we also keep an eye off the southeast coast and around the Bahamas. Sometimes we can get some development here. These typically recurve because we are still in a pretty active spring and early summer pattern where you get more systems kind of pushing through. Once that Bermuda high sets up camp and it's just parked out there, we can see storms getting kind of directed into the southeast U.S. So we do watch for that a little later in the season. But these are June hotspots. Now, I know it's May, but we always do keep an eye to things, and we do want to take a look right now. So one of those hotspots down around the Bahamas, pretty quiet right now. We do have some storms with the frontal boundary offshore. That front, again, offshore and kind of moving away. We sometimes watch for these fronts to stall. You can get waves developing along the fronts. Nothing to be too worried about right now. In the Gulf, you can see it is mainly clear. There are some clusters of storms close to the Florida Panhandle, but nothing that's showing any signs of tropical development. The Caribbean looking very quiet right now, and that's the case across the main development region as you look out there. Really nothing showing any signs of tropical organization, so don't worry too much about that. All right, nothing out there to worry about now. Here's our local waters and marine forecast for the Chesapeake Bay, the lower part of the bay, and the waters east of Virginia Beach. Light winds today, 5 to 10 knots. That's it. Southwest winds on the bay, south winds on the ocean. The sea's 2 to 3 feet, and we have a low tide coming for Hampton Roads, Sewell's Point at 11:47, about quarter to 12. High tide comes just after 6 o'clock. All right, we're going to turn our attention from the tropics to the heavens. And, you know, if you enjoy stargazing, and maybe you wanted to last night, I know we had the clouds, but we had the peak of what might have looked like a shooting star. That, any streaks you see across the sky, that's part of the Aquariid meteor shower. It hit its peak this morning. These meteors break off as part of the tail from Halley's Comet and are known for their speed, traveling about 148,000 miles per hour. Now, the best time to view the activity is in the early pre-dawn hours when the moon is low in the sky. And during this morning's peak, there were up to 10 to 15 meteors per hour. Now, that was the peak. As we look forward, again, we'll go past peak, but I do have a look at what's coming up, and we'll show you that map in just a moment. The next major meteor shower, the Delta Aquariid, peaks in late July, so we'll have to wait a little while. How about the viewing for tonight? Well, here in the mid-Atlantic, the sky's mainly clear. So while we might not see that 10 to 15 per hour that we got with the peak this morning, we had clouds this morning. You couldn't see them. You may still see a few of these quick-moving meteors. Always fun to check them out. So keep an eye to the east sky late tonight, after midnight especially. That's when you may get your best look. And again, mainly clear tonight. Florida looking pretty good. South Florida, back around the western Great Lakes, the upper tier of the U.S. looking pretty good. West Texas will be okay. You do see a lot of cloud cover and rain across the central U.S. And then out to the west coast, you may have some pretty good viewing as well. So I just wanted to kind of give you that look ahead. We do have that hope. Now I want to talk to you about Mother's Day, and you can see from Mother's Day, things are looking really good here. We're going to see temperatures close to 80 degrees, nice as mom's hugs here in Hampton Roads. What about the rest of the country? Well, let's take a look. On Sunday, Mother's Day, temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s around Raleigh. We'll find temperatures upper 70s in New York City, 81 in Orlando. Chance for a few storms if you're down there. New Orleans, temperatures there in the mid-70s with a chance for storms. In the central U.S., beautiful in St. Louis, Chicago, Omaha, Minneapolis. Just wonderful if you are in the central part of the country as you celebrate Mother's Day. It's looking good on your Sunday. And out west, it's going to be hot in Vegas, baby. 97, 62 in San Francisco, 73 in L.A., 105 in Phoenix, so the heat really building in the southwest. Cooler in Seattle, but most of those western areas looking pretty good. All right, before we get into the local forecast and look ahead in more detail for Hampton Roads, want to take you back out to Hawaii, and here's again time lapse. We showed this yesterday. I thought it was so great. I wanted to do it again and give you an update on Kilauea. All right, this is Kilauea volcano and the activity in Hawaii. The scientists that are monitoring it said they haven't seen this kind of activity as much as they're starting to see now in nearly 40 years. Lava's been spewing up to 330 feet into the air. It started Friday, continued over the weekend. We can look live now at Kilauea, and there you have it. This is a live picture. You can see the action here. And the U.S. Geological Survey reports the volcano is expected to erupt again sometime in the next few days. This is a pattern, they say. They haven't really seen this much activity since 1986. It's really picking up. I mean, it looks like something from a movie there. Just amazing to check it out. And again, we'll continue to watch it. You see the flashes. Couldn't you just watch this? Well, actually, that's what we need to do at 13 News now, is just set up a live camera on that and just keep it going, because I think it is so incredible to see. And again, if you have interest in the volcanoes and you want to know more, continue to check back. We will keep you updated on the activity. Look at the lava. Man, I love that. All right, got to bring it back here to Hampton Roads. Honestly, I could just sit there and watch that volcano just do its thing. And at night, it's still dark in Hawaii. It's beautiful to see that. What we're seeing now, the sunlight reflecting off the buildings. We started off fog and clouds out there. Our Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview showing more sunshine now. Really looking good. 70, partly cloudy at the airport. Southwest winds 8 miles per hour. We do have a very high UV index in Hampton Roads, 8.3. Only going to take about 20, 25 minutes or so for a sunburn to begin. If you're going out around midday, cover and protect your skin. Got to do that. Tree and grass pollen are moderate today. We've been talking about that pollen all season. We're going to kind of start transitioning out of tree pollen and start moving more towards grass, eventually weed, and then mold potentially. Across our area, we are dry. We had the showers and storms last night, but that's all out of here. I'll show you our futurecast going forward. Things are looking pretty good for most of the region. We're going to enjoy sunshine. The dew points, what you don't see on this graphic is that our dew points are going to be going down. So that means lower humidity, more comfortable conditions across the area. Tomorrow morning, I think right at the coast and maybe at the airport, upper 50s to near 60. But most of the area, we're going to be in the low to mid 50s. It will be a cooler and less humid start to the day. So it's really going to be refreshing when you step out the door early on your Wednesday here across Hampton Roads. Afternoon highs, upper 70s to low 80s. As you can see, another really nice day. Early Thursday looks pretty good, but things are going to change up later Thursday, and I got to talk to you about our next rain chances coming in. Some isolated to scattered showers and storms start to push in. Late in the day on Thursday, we could see a couple of isolated stronger storms maybe pushing in. As they get closer to the coast, they are going to weaken and kind of fragment, but still a few stronger storms possible, mainly to the north late Thursday night. And then into early Friday, we'll still see chances for isolated to scattered wet weather on Friday. Now, I'll tell you, the model's kind of split a little bit. The Euro was keeping some showers around for Friday. The GFS model was starting to clear us out. We'll see how that kind of plays out as we get closer to Friday, if the models come together or if they continue to be, apart with each other. We'll see. But I would say at this point, just know that there's good chances for showers and storms late Thursday evening, and then into Friday, there's a chance. Temperatures right now, upper 60s to near 70. It is 71 in Virginia Beach, 72 at Currituck, and 71 in Elizabeth City. We had fog for inland areas this morning. That's why it's still a little cooler there with more cloud cover. But as that cloud cover continues to burn off and break up, we're going to see those inland areas spiking as well. So highs today will range from the low 80s to upper 70s across most of the region. For the peninsula, upper 70s to near 80 in Hampton, 75 at Cape Charles, 76 at Matthews, Gloucester 78 in northeast North Carolina, low 80s Edenton, Hertford, and Elizabeth City, upper 70s there at the Outer Banks around Kill Devil Hills and Manio. Tonight's low down around 60, mainly clear skies. Tomorrow back up to 82, less humid, mostly sunny, and looking good as we get into early Thursday. Late Thursday, chances for showers and then storms maybe Thursday evening, as I just showed you. Showers possible on Friday. Saturday and Sunday looking good for Mother's Day weekend. 75 Saturday, up to 80 on Mother's Day, and then 77. Showers possible again next week, Monday into next Tuesday. Best way to stay up on our forecast is downloading the 13 News Now app. Scan the QR code. We always remind folks, if you haven't done this already, you really should. It's a great way to get connected with our forecasts, our radars, and, of course, news updates as well. We will keep you fully posted on what's going on right here from 13 News Now. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Weather Desk. We continue to do it again every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 o'clock. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. It's been a pleasure to be here with you this half hour, and I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.